We're going to just start removing chairs from the back row, and that way everybody has to slowly move up. Well, happy Friday. Thanks for joining us for the latest DWD All Staff meeting. I'm excited about today. We're going to have Director Anna Hugh from our great neighbors here in the building, Department of Labor and Industrial Relations, with us, and she's going to address us on the second half. So part of our effort to kind of engage more with our core partners and the other cabinet members throughout the state's departments. So, but everyone kind of has a flow in front of them, but what we'll kind of just start out with today is just a few quick announcements, and then we'll get through our part of the agenda pretty quick. You know, everybody's been very busy. We have a lot of exciting stuff that's been going on, that's going to continue to go on. You know, I think one big announcement, as we all know, there's the Missouri Association Workforce Development Conference coming up in about a month, maybe a little less. I know a lot of work has gone into that. I'm real excited about everyone's involvement, proud of the different teams we have that are going to be presenting and contributing to the conference, and it's always a great event. I've always enjoyed MAUD, and just thrilled to see everyone else get as excited about it as I do. So excited to see that to come up. Just a few other things. We've hit a big milestone with our Workforce Investment Opportunity Act state plan that's been submitted. That was a lot of work. That goes over a long period of time, and now that it's in, we're working on our local and regional plans, and we're going to quickly start on the next state plan, which is due in 2020, but we're going to get ahead of the cycle. So a lot of effort's been happening there. Outside of kind of at the grander scope, we have three big initiatives within the Department of Economic Development that are underway right now. There's a branding initiative where they are participating in a project to develop DWD, DED, the overall economic development space, what our brand is going to look like. So that process is happening. We also have, as you heard Director Dixon last meeting talk about the Best in Midwest. That project is moving forward, and the selection of the external advisory team, the consultant group, is actually happening real soon. The RFP is out for that. So there'll be a lot of movement there. And then our part of it, which is the statewide workforce assessment project, or SWAP, our RFPs went out yesterday, so we're real thrilled about that. So we'll be doing our statewide assessment of our labor market, and using all that stuff, all that will come together through a lot of work over the summer, participation with a Workforce Innovation Task Force in association with Hawthorne that we will do, and will culminate with some report outs at the Governor's Conference on Economic Development, which was just also announced for the 5th through the 7th of September in Kansas City. So a very busy summer in front of us in spring, a lot of exciting things happening, and before we know it, we'll be in Kansas City, and we'll be looking at some of these things. Beyond that, we've had continue to move some people around and kind of reshuffle the deck a little bit and realign some of our work here at central office. And so many of you probably saw the email that went out recently about that, but just I know I'm going to have each of the assistant directors kind of talk about some of the changes in their area. But again, just a reminder that effort, that management innovation project is ongoing. I'm real excited to kind of get to the less pedantic, less boring phase, and get into our innovation teams, which Dave Overfelt's going to talk about, but those teams are launching also this month. We're launching Empower, which I'm going to talk about today. So a lot of our stuff that we've been building behind the scenes, we're finally getting to the point where we could actually talk about it and talk about what the process is going to be and how we're going to roll those out. So I'm just really thrilled that we're getting the point of we can actually do some of the fun work that we've been trying to figure out how to develop over the last few months. So with that said, I want to kind of, because of our speaker, I'm switching the schedule around a little bit today, but I want to go ahead and bring up the committees. So if each of the committees will want to come up real quick, you can give your committee updates, and then after that we'll do, I'll have the assistant directors come up, and then we'll do some awards and recognitions, and then I'm going to jump into the Empower announcement, and then we'll be ready for Director Hugh.
Well, hello. I am your primary contact person for what we refer to as the Benevolent Fund Committee. For those of you who are new to central office, the Benevolent Fund Committee we just refer to as B Fund. That is just a group of people here who have decided to throw in $30 for an entire year to support people who have gone through a major life event such as a death in the family, a wedding, birth, those sort of things. Apologize for not being able to reach out to you directly as you've come into central office, but as a quick update, we have so far been able to help 2 people who have, not help, but really bless them with a $50 gift card to their choice for retirement. So Brenda Ansel left us earlier in the year, and I so apologize, Alicia Rowling left us as well. And we have also been able to assist 2 people with some sympathy gifts, whether it was flowers or a gift certificate to their choosing as well. If you're interested in more information about the Benevolent Fund, please reach out to me, or you can reach out to Monica Green. She's back there. So that's all my updates for the Benevolent Fund Committee.
Hi everybody, I'm Mike Chittum. Can everybody hear me okay? I am an honorary social committee speaker today, so I'm not actually on the social committee, but Danielle and Jackie asked me to do this, so as you look at me, just pretend like I'm Danielle, okay? So I don't have a ponytail, but I can kind of flip my head around a little bit. Danielle, just picking on you a little bit. Just a few announcements I'm going to make for the social committee. When, what, where, how. We're talking about wingdings, talking about what's coming up. So next Friday, April 13th, we're having our Spring Fling Wingding. Everybody say that with me.
Spring Fling Wingding.
Excellent, very good. Where it will be in the DWD break room from 11:30 to 1 o'clock, or until it's over, I think is what it says. Wing details, they are all boneless and flavors will be barbecue, buffalo, or plain. You can mix and match flavors. $3 for 6. Carrots and ranch dressing will be provided. Extras, we also have chips and salsa and chips and cheese for purchase in addition to the wings, as well as soda. Raise hand. If you're interested in participating, raise your hand. Okay, you raise your hand. If you're interested in participating, raise your hand so we can get a rough estimate. Danielle, Jackie, will you guys count real quick? There's 2 people coming to the wingding? No, we're going to have more than that. Come on, raise your hands, guys. Come on. April 13th, Friday the 13th, wingdings. Wings, so did you guys get a count? That's 150 people. I'm kidding. So if you're interested, please contact somebody from the social committee. It'll be great. I'll have some wings. I'll eat double portions, so you guys don't be embarrassed. I'll have it all over my face and stuff. That's actually how I met my wife. We went out to eat wings together, and she was a winner after completing about 2 dozen with me. So if anyone is interested in volunteering or helping with the events, please email anybody on the social fund. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm your charitable campaign coordinator. Those of you who are new, the charitable campaign is just this awesome opportunity for us as state workers to give back to local charities. You do that for either a payroll deduction, or you can just donate a lump sum. So for any of the newbies, if you'd like to get with me to do that awesome opportunity, normally it happens in October. So I don't really have any updates at the moment. Last year we didn't really hit our goal. We still did great, didn't really hit our goal, but I'm excited because that's going to start us fresh for this upcoming season to hit a more reasonable goal, I guess. And that's all I have. We've done so awesome in the past few years that it's gotten pretty up there. So I'm really proud of everyone. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. Thanks to all of our committees. And I will say, sort of in that vein, we answered the call to Director Dixon's challenge to Ag, and that was to bring in a lot of jelly to respond to their peanut butter challenge. And I should know the numbers. Does someone know the numbers? But I mean, it was almost like 4 to 1 that we have jelly to peanut. So there's a lot of jelly sandwiches that are going to be eaten instead of peanut butter jelly. But good job. Thank you for everybody that, especially out in our job centers. I know there was a lot of great work done with that. So great. If the assistant directors want to come up real quick, I know they have a few announcements, and we'll do a couple of recognitions and then dive into Empower.
Okay, so I just have a couple staff announcements to make. For those of you that don't know, Robin McHugh is our new regional manager, and Robin is in our Nevada Job Center, and she has what we call Region 4, which is Clinton, Nevada, Joplin, Springfield, and Branson. So she is based out of Nevada, and she was previously our supervisor, but she's been on board now about 6 weeks. Secondly, I'd like to talk about Justin McPeters here. So stand up, Justin. Watch the camera. They don't know you out there. Justin is a vet intern. I say vet because he comes through the VA, but not really a vet. But he has been working with the vet program for about a year. Is that right? And so now he is moving over and is going to be helping Clinton in the performance unit. And so he has moved upstairs, and he's going to be doing that as well as helping do a little support for the vet program. Thank you. I also just want to let everybody know that if you don't know already, the St. Joe office is moving. They are going to a new location next week. So on the 11th and 12th, they're moving to their new spot, and the office will be closed for those 2 days, but then reopen on the 13th. Okay.
We've had 3 new staff join our respective area. Rachel, you want to stand up so everybody can see you? This is Rachel, and you say your last name because I'm gonna. There you go. She is our new procurement officer, so she'll be taking care of all the contracts and the procurement stuff. And I'm sure we've bombarded her, and she's fitting right in, doing just fine. Let's see, who else we have? Lisa Nichols. Lisa, welcome. She is with our TSU unit, and I believe she's going to be training, right? So be helping Ed with the training. And then, hang on, I forgot. Dawn. There you are, Dawn Stilson. So now we have 2 Dawns in the financial unit. Dawn comes to us as a accounting generalist, so she'll be doing a lot of the monitoring and anything else financial needs. So, welcome. Oh, I'm sorry, Bria. I thought you told me no. I thought you told me no when I asked you. I misunderstood. Hi, Bria. Bria Arnell. She is new to our quality assurance unit and is one of the monitors. And I know we've already thrown her out there, right? Yes. And she's doing great. So welcome. And that is all from me.
Hi, I'm Julie Carter. We have had a couple staff move around within programs. One of them being Mike Chittum. Can you stand up, Mike? Mike is now going to be the labor exchange SME. Also, for any new disaster grants, he will be in charge of those, as well as RISA. He has taken that over as well. The other change that we have is Donna Brake. Donna is now the new work-based learning coordinator, and also she's going to finish out this Mo 42 disaster grant and work with the apprenticeship program. So we're excited to have those changes.
Hello, I'm Amy Sublett. We have a few changes in our unit as well. First, Danielle, and we have can you stand up? We have an ongoing back and forth here, so maybe you can clear this up. Brio or Briat? Bryant. None of the above. None of us were right. There you go. Danielle is actually joining our team back in the Skilled Workforce Missouri unit. She's going to be working closely with Christy Davis and the other workforce coordinators that are in the field around the state to help with ETT transitional services. So we're very excited about Danielle being a part of our team. In addition, Tara, I'm going to ask you to stand up. Tara Mortz, she recently was promoted into the position of marketing coordinator for Skilled Workforce Missouri, so she's going to help us with a lot of the marketing needs that we need for the program. So we're very excited. So congratulations to Tara. And then lastly, no staff alignment or other staff changes to mention, but I do want to give a special call out to some folks in the field, as well as a couple of other people here in central office who've kind of, I would say, have gone above and beyond the call of duty in helping us work a major project. In Southeast Missouri, Magnitude 7 Metals is a company that's gone into New Madrid, Missouri. There had been a company there previously, Noranda Aluminum, that had closed in 2016 and had laid off several hundred people that made really significant wages. There's not a whole lot of employment opportunities of that caliber in that particular area, so we were really psyched when it was announced, our department announced that Magnitude 7 Metals, another aluminum smelting operation, was going in and hiring several hundred people between now and the end of this calendar year. Because Noranda was determined to be a Trade Act impacted company, and a lot of the workers were eligible for Trade Act benefits. Many of them are being considered for employment at the new Magnitude 7 Metals company, and are obviously eligible for, some of them are eligible for on-the-job training benefits. And Linda Fitzgerald, who is our workforce coordinator in Southeast Missouri, has been our point on this project. She's responsible for ensuring that Magnitude 7 Metals has the right workers that they need so they can be up and running. And so Linda literally has been working 12-hour days to ensure that this project gets done. So we want to have a special call out for Linda. She's also received a lot of support. Pam Caro, who is the Trade Act specialist in Park Hills, has helped serve kind of as a go-to person for Linda to help with the Trade Act paperwork and some of the requirements there locally. They have also been supported by the other Trade Act specialists in the Kennett, Poplar Bluff, Sykeston, Cape, Park Hill, well, Poplar Bluff, in those particular job centers. So we want to thank them for all their hard work, and a special call out to Lori Caldwell, the supervisor in Sykeston, to give you an idea of the magnitude of Magnitude 7. I think I had heard earlier this morning, Lisa Elrod shared with me that last month the traffic for the Sykeston Job Center was around 700, and this last month, largely because of Magnitude 7, the traffic was more like 1,200. So in 30 days, that shows you the impact of what's going on there. So a lot of people putting in a lot of hard work, and we wanted to give a special call out. Last but not least, they couldn't have done it without the support of our program specialists here in central office, the true experts, to make sure that we do everything right. Meyer Human and Deb Painter worked very closely. I'm going to, can you guys stand? They have put a lot of hours and sweat into this project. And so it was truly a team effort, and so I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody. I know there were more people involved, but those people, at least right now, that are centered around the Trade Act program and getting these people reemployed in a really good job, we appreciate everything you've done. So that's all I have.
So we have some service recognition. Starting with Dennis. I don't know who's going to take your picture because you're the picture guy.
Yeah.
So, but
oh no, it's the other way. Just kidding.
What I don't have is my cheat sheet that tells me how many years. So 10 years for Dennis.
Years.
So thanks to Dennis.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Awesome. And then Rez, I don't have your cheat sheet either, but it's probably been like, what, 40, 50 years?
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say. So just
Probably about
Infinity.
25,
Yeah.
I think.
a long time. We're glad to have you. Thanks a lot.
He already took the picture.
There you go. Act like you've done it before.
Awesome. Thanks. Thanks to everybody. So, lots of stuff to recognize, and I'll kind of just go last on my recognition. April 2nd, Dr. David Overfelt was promoted into the position of the new strategy and planning manager, and he leads up our strategy planning team, which is a newer team that we've talked about a lot, but leading a lot of our innovation efforts. And so just welcome and congrats to Dave, and thanks for taking on that role. So I'm going to dive into a quick presentation and just talk a little about, I've heard there's lots of talk and buzz about this Empower concept and what it is and what it isn't and why we care. And so I just thought today's kind of our soft launch where we're just really announcing the concept and the brand and some of my vision behind what Empower is and what I hope it becomes for our division and for our staff. And there'll be a lot of information that we'll begin to build out as a result. And as you'll see from a timeline, there's an official launch date that's coming and a few milestones along the way. But I'm really excited to roll this initiative out. This is one of the most important initiatives, honestly, to me, that we can do here at the division. And so we created this concept called Empower. It really is going to be our new corporate training program that we're going to use to do just what it says, empower our staff and empower each of you. And so what's it about? What's the purpose? Really the focus of this is to do two key things. First is how do we position our staff as a national leading team of both topical and functional expertise in the workforce development space. I know that we have the best team. I know that we have one of the most passionate teams, but what tools can we give you to empower you to help you grow and expand and excel beyond even our current expectations here in Missouri's public workforce system. We talked about a lot of these projects, a lot of the stuff that's going on. We understand the importance of workforce development. We know it's a top 2 issue. We know Governor Greitens is 100% behind workforce development and making it one of the top priorities. And so how can we ensure that we're investing in our teams and giving you the skill sets and the resources necessary to do your jobs to your fullest capacity? And then the other piece is how do we create kind of a standardized staff training and development program here within the division. A lot of times it is reactive. We're chasing kind of the next big technological change or programmatic change or policy change, but how do we align that together and try to create some sort of standardized mechanism in which we can continually support our staff and invest in our staff here in the Division of Workforce Development. So that's really what Empower is set out to do. The scope of the project is to do a couple of things. One, to design some specific, position-specific certification opportunities, and really think of these as we're going to create kind of a badge system. Everybody will have a baseline certification that we get, but then there'll be opportunities for you to take on additional learning opportunities or additional professional development opportunities and earn some badges in other specialty areas or continued improvement type areas. This is going to be a cyclical process, meaning we're going to do it on an annual basis. Every year, everyone will need to get their base level certifications, and then there'll be continuing education, continuing improvement that we do each year. So it will be an evolving, growing process that will not just be kind of done at one time and then shelved. And so really it becomes more of a living, breathing type of process. We want it to be standardized because in some cases it's hard to make sure all across the state when you have 14 workforce regions and 31 job centers and almost 400 employees, it's very hard to replicate and do everything in a consistent way. So we'll understand the bell curve and how do we get that deviation or that variation down as minimal as possible. That's what we want to focus on here and create a standardized process. And then the biggest part and the most important part, frankly, is to reward and recognize the great work that you're doing in our staff. And so using Empower will include not just how do we provide you more skill development, professional development opportunities, but how do we also recognize the important work that you're doing and reward you for that. Outcomes of those deliverables really are, again, you should achieve, the goal is for each of you to achieve growth in your personal and professional enrichment, annual certification for our staff, areas of specialization and lifelong learning opportunities, also opening those pathways, hopefully, as you should better see opportunities for upward mobility and kind of see more of, how does my role today and how does my growth in that role, what does that look like, again, as we do this engage process, what does that look like going forward? And then again, I put it on here twice because it is that important, the idea of how do we reward and recognize the important work that we're doing. So what's the process? Really, we've kind of broke this up into 3 phases. The first phase is focusing on our field staff. And the reason we need to focus first on our field staff is because central office staff, we are kind of you are the subject matter experts and you're the ones that have to help us build this whole system and push it out. So as you'll see in phase 2, central office staff will go through this. It's one of those situations where we have to first focus on our field staff, help them get their certifications and get that program delivered, and then we will also at the same time be developing ourselves here internally. And so what we're doing is we're sort of breaking these, oh, it's the touch screen, that's right. So we're breaking these up into the different phases or buckets. And so for field staff, we have base level certification, which I'll get into kind of the weeds here shortly, but job center specialist and WIOA and program specific coursework. And then of course we have our veteran staff and then job center management staff, which is your supervisors, your functional leaders, and your regional managers. And then central office staff will be focusing on our core competencies that each of us need to have, things that we kind of in a very general sense will all work on, but then really diving deeper into the SME, of course, and program certification, because that's what each of you do here. And then leadership certification programs, and then for our top level management, what I call the DWD leaders team, which is anyone who's a band 1 or higher, will be going through lean certification. We'll be getting, we'll have a bunch of 6 Sigma green belts running around here in about 6 months, which I'm really thrilled about. And then we will open this up to partner staff, especially in the field later in phase 3, but it's really important that we create this program for ourselves and that we really, I wanted to put our staff up front. Our staff deserves this program. We do a lot of great interaction with our partner staff, but we need to build this out and put on our oxygen mask before we put on the oxygen masks of others, so to speak. So that's why you'll see it's phased in this way. Oh, now I'm down here, so it's messing me up. Sorry. Okay, so what does that kind of look like? So what are we talking about time-wise? So for frontline staff, you're looking at for all of our job center staff, frontline staff, you're looking at a base of about 32 clock hours of training to get their certification, to get their badge. And then it kind of builds above that. So then as you get into trade staff or veteran staff, then you'll add on top of the 32 hours, additional hours based on your area. All the way up, there's kind of 6 categories there. Then you have center supervisors and functional leaders, and then regional managers. And so in the field staff category, there's kind of 6 different levels depending on what your role is. And then on top, and this is just for base level certification, we think it's going to take about 90 days to get through the initial certification. But then beyond that, if you want to be a specialist in another area, and it'll be everything from if I want to be a customer service specialist to areas that are very technically complex, then you'll have those opportunities to get those extra badges and to kind of move beyond the base level certification and take some initiative if you so choose to do that. Of course, baked into all this is the great work that TSU has done with MoJobs training. Of course, in all of this is the MoJobs training program, and that really is the core of what we already have in place. And so a lot of this other type of training will be built around what's already been built out with the MoJobs piece. So again, phase 1, as you see, you have central office staff in the middle really being that hub that supports phase 1 for the certification program for our field staff. And so since we have central office staff here, and I know field staff are getting to watch, I think it's important we understand the integration and the flow between central office staff and the role central office staff has here, both as participants but also as being supportive to our field staff as we deliver this program. And then, so phase 2, again, this is some more what we're calling the central office staff, and basically our central office staff, and then all the way up to our assistant directors. They'll go, we have our buckets of our SME, leadership, lean, and of course all of us will have our generalization core competencies. So it's very similar to in each phase or in each unit, whether your central office staff up through which again includes everyone all the way up through the assistant directors, or your field staff, which includes everybody on up through the regional managers. There's that baseline certification that everybody gets, and then there's add-ons depending on your area of focus. And so the same thing will happen here. And so what's the timeline? We're going to launch a pilot because we know it's going to be messy up front. Anytime you do something new, we always talk about the best way to eat an elephant is to chew on its toenail first and then begin to gobble it up. Well, we're going to have a Trailblazer cohort, which are going to be those individuals who, with us, will kind of work out the kinks of the system, which is our soft launch that we're doing today. The Trailblazer cohort, which will include our regional managers and a few key central office staff, will go through this process between today and June 30th. And then, as you'll see, the full launch of phase 1 and 2, which does happen simultaneously. So it's not that we have to train field staff and then train central office staff. It's just they'll be done in different ways. Launches on July 1st with the new fiscal year. We expect phase 1 field staff to be complete by September 30th. We expect phase 2, which is central office staff, to be complete by December 31st. Some of you will finish earlier than that, depending on where you're at in the process. Some of you will finish a little bit sooner, a little longer. And then ideally, we've built the system. We're proud of the system. We feel it's achieving what we hope it will. We'll do about 6 months of measures, and then we will launch phase 3, which will be making this available to our partner staff, and then start the continuing education process, the beyond base level certification for all of our incumbent staff, both the central office and the field that has already achieved their baseline certification. On an annual basis, though, everyone will have to recertify and get their base level certification, and then and the way they'll do that is through some core competency generalization type of certification in addition to really adding on those areas of specialization. So as far as content and curriculum, that is still being built out. Today, really what's important to know is kind of the vision behind it. We wanted you to have available the timeline and the expectation of what Empower is about, and then understand that this is not something that is meant to be perceived as an inconvenience or something that's punitive or uncomfortable, but really an opportunity for us to standardize our corporate training methodology and our process and really our philosophy of that. I mean, in the business of workforce development, that's what we do, right? We help cultivate these things, and if we can't cultivate ourselves, then we can't really effectively cultivate others. And so we want to make sure we take the time to do that. And then to, again, recognize and reward the important work and progression and development that each of us goes through on a routine basis. We talk a lot about apprenticeships, for instance, and that's a big program that we do a lot of. And we talk about, there's apprenticeships are a lot of on-the-job training, and then we couple with that, what's called related training and instruction. Well, here we kind of have the reverse of that. We're in the frying pan every day, and a lot of the work is being learned on the job and on the go. What we want to do is kind of wrap around that. What are some additional skill set and development opportunities that we can wrap around what you're doing on a daily basis, because the work doesn't stop, right, to do this, but combined and give credit and recognition for the great stuff that you're doing on the job, but then also add to it by providing access and information to additional skills and training opportunities, and then ultimately recognizing and rewarding the initiative and the important work that you're doing. So that's really what Empower is all about. Excited to launch this. It's one of the most important initiatives I think that we can go through. Part of the Management Innovation Project really is about how do we position our organization to be the most dynamic workforce development organization in the United States, we're the best in the Midwest, as you may hear. Also, this is what I truly believe will help get us there. So appreciate your time and interest in this. There'll be great opportunities for us to continue to participate, and more to come. So this is kind of the tip of the spear of a lot that's going to come.
Hi everyone. Sorry I'm a few minutes late, but I know I was quite thrilled to get the invitation from Marty to address all of you. I think some of you have probably seen me around the building, you know, in the cafeteria, in the halls. I know a few people have made fun of the fact that I'm kind of on my own little wall with my picture right now, but I am the only color picture over there, and they decided to start a new wall with that, so it didn't look quite out of place with the other black and white pictures out there. But anyway, my name is Anna Hugh, and I've actually just celebrated my 1-year anniversary in actually visiting the building for the first time. So that was on April 4th, so it's been 1 year now, and it's been quite a ride, very interesting in many ways. One of the things that Marty asked me to come and talk with y'all about is what are we doing, and who I am, and that sort of thing. So I've done a lot of work in the employment, labor law, workforce development area for a number of years now, probably over 20 years. My first job was as a vocational rehabilitation counselor with the Illinois Department of Employment Security in their vocational rehab department. So that was an internship, and that gave me insight into all sorts of challenges, but also great opportunities for getting people with disabilities, whether it was physical, mental, or other sort of challenges that they had, back into the workforce, and people who really wanted to work, right? So that was over 20-some years ago. I hate to admit that, but it's true, and that really spurred an interest in me into doing more work in the employment and labor law area. And so, can you not hear me? What? Oh, the mic's only for the camera, so I don't really need it?
No, you need it.
Oh,
You also need to hear your back.
oh, okay. All right, didn't realize that. So, all right. Anyway, so I've been doing this type of work for a long time, first with the state of Illinois, then with the New Jersey Department of Labor. I was a judicial law clerk for their Division of Workers' Compensation, and then practiced in that area for a while. Then went to U.S. Department of Labor and was there for about 6.5 years. Starting off initially with the Chief Financial Officer's office, so that I got a real sense of what the back office operations for a large agency is like. You know, we had to run payroll, we had to do benefits, but we also had to do year-end close, you know, when you're making sure that all the grant numbers are matching up and all the different agencies are reporting correctly, and the fact that, you know, you have other obligations to other federal agencies in terms of the reporting requirements out there. And then did a lot of outreach work when I moved to the Secretary's office there, overseeing the Office of Public Liaisons, and really got a good sense in terms of working with a lot of different stakeholder organizations. So and individuals. So not only with the employer side of it, but really with employees as well, and the worker populations, and what their challenges might be to keep their skills fresh, to make sure that we kept the American workforce in a position where we can remain competitive in the global economy. And so it's great that I got an opportunity to come back to the Midwest, first for Illinois, but now back here in Missouri, and we're doing some exciting things at the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations. We've really challenged our team to think about us being part of the economic development operation for the state. And when I first got here, I think a lot of people, their initial answer was, well, what do? We help those who are unemployed and injured workers. But we do so much more, and that's why I'm sharing these booklets with you today. This is a resource that we developed initially for the Governor's Economic Development Conference last September, but we thought it was a really good opportunity to also share with our internal departments as well, divisions, so that they could see the full breadth of activities that we do across the board. And so you guys are probably familiar with Interact, which is with employment security. And the fact that our two systems are connected, Interact as well as the Your Jobs program as well. But you know, there are so many other things that we work on, and there are resources out there regarding workplace safety, and also with preventing layoffs, so with the shared work program as well. But there, again, are a number of different things, and one of our big themes is about working better together internally as an organization, so understanding, again, the wide range of programs that we have across the Department of Labor, but also working better together with our external stakeholders as well. well. And so that means other state agencies. So how do we work with DED? How do we work with AG and DSS and all these other areas where we have some overlap, right, with some of the constituents that we serve and the populations that we want to, make sure are incorporated in our policy and program decisions as well. And then, in the broader context, how are we part of that overall economic development team? How can we get in ahead of any sort of issue, or how can we help to attract an employer or an investor into the state, like Amazon, for instance? And so that's one of the big things that we are trying to do with getting our team on board, is talking about working better together. We've created a new vision, which is really about supporting the economic vitality, safety, and fairness of Missouri's workers and employers. And so while that is not our mission statement, that's kind of where our vision is right now and where we think we can go with the next level. And so with that, I am open to any questions that you all might have, but really appreciate the opportunity for today. And if you see me in the halls and you have questions about stuff, I know some of you, sometimes I'll ask you questions in terms of what you're working on and stuff, and you've always been real friendly and helpful, so I appreciate that. Anything else?
No, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Q. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we appreciate our collaboration, of course, with all of our great partners, and it truly is. I'm inspired by each of our department directors and our commissioners, because they are truly exemplifying the one team, one mission, and bringing us together. And we really, of course, we know in workforce, we can't work in silos. We have to work together collectively, and so it's refreshing to have that all the way at the top of our different leaders and counterparts. So, well, it's Friday. We like to get things done early on Friday, so we'll go ahead and wrap up today. But again, thanks to everyone for coming. More information about all these great projects will be forthcoming, and I think probably the next time all of us will be together will be sometime in May. So we look forward to that. Thanks.